Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. What if just one small shift, one simple idea, could radically improve the way you think, live, and lead? Starting today, every morning we rise into a world brimming with potential, yet too often we sleepwalk through it, distracted by noise, paralyzed by routine, and numbed by repetition. We scroll, we react, we survive, but rarely do we pause long enough to shift. Not in our mindset, not in our habits, not in our relationships. And so, life continues, predictable, safe, and stuck. But what if it didn't have to be that way? Imagine a year where every single day greets you not with the same stale thoughts, but with a spark, a thought-provoking insight that challenges your assumptions, rewires your patterns, and reignites your potential. Imagine a year of clarity instead of confusion, of purpose instead of autopilot, of impact instead of indifference. That year begins now. This book is not about massive overhauls or lofty promises. It's about something more powerful, the compounding force of small, intentional shifts. Shifts in how you communicate, shifts in how you see conflict, shifts in your attitude, your identity, your ambition. Some days, it will feel like a whisper of wisdom. Other days, a thunderbolt of truth. But every day, you'll move closer to the best version of yourself. A shift a day for your best year, yet is your permission slip to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start building a life of deeper meaning, elevated leadership, authentic connection, and personal excellence. One focused, honest, courageous day at a time. So turn the page. Take the first shift, because your best year doesn't start on January 1st. It starts the moment you decide to think differently. Book A Shift a Day for Your Best Year, yet by Dean Del Sesto. Part 1. Laying the Foundation, the Daily Shift Mindset. Chapter 1. The Power of Micro Shifts. Dean Del Sesto wastes no time in laying out the revolutionary simplicity of his approach. Transformation doesn't have to be monumental. It can be daily, bite-sized, and consistent. He introduces the idea of shifts, small mental and behavioral realignments that, over time, lead to profound personal and professional growth. Rather than waiting for a new year or a breakdown to inspire change, Del Sesto argues we have 365 opportunities, one each day, to make a single impactful decision that nudges us closer to the life we want. These are not resolutions, he clarifies. They're not drastic reinventions. They are shifts in attitude, perception, and communication, often so subtle they can be practiced immediately with lasting effect. For listeners, this chapter is like lighting a fuse. The promise is simple, actionable growth, but the outcome can be explosive. He stresses that intentionality is the fuel that powers this process. Without the daily commitment to reflect and shift, we default to stagnation. Key takeaway: the secret to success is not big changes. It's consistent, small shifts made daily. Chapter 2. Thinking differently about thinking. In this chapter, Del Sesto takes us deeper by exploring the power of thought. He invites us to consider the consequences of unchecked thinking and how the mental scripts we rehearse daily shape our beliefs, decisions, and destiny. He asks provocative questions. What if our biggest limitations are just mental habits? What if our truths are just beliefs we never examined? Del Sesto encourages listeners to challenge their default thinking, the reactive, negative, or assumptive thoughts that steer much of our behavior without scrutiny. He introduces a crucial shift. Instead of trying to fix thoughts, observe and redirect them. Just like changing lanes on a highway, the key is awareness, not judgment. This chapter especially resonates with those stuck in cycles of overthinking, self-doubt, or frustration. Del Sesto doesn't overcomplicate it. A better mindset is a series of better thoughts. And better thoughts, they're made one at a time. Key takeaway: you don't have to believe everything you think. Thinking can be managed and upgraded through awareness. Chapter 3. Communication is a mirror. Del Sesto boldly states that how we communicate is who we are, and it reflects more than we realize. This chapter is all about self-awareness through dialogue. The way we speak to others, listen, and respond is a direct mirror of our internal world. He highlights that many communication breakdowns come not from intention, but from a lack of clarity, presence, or empathy. We often communicate to be right, not to connect. We interrupt to defend instead of understand. And worse, we let our emotions lead instead of letting understanding anchor the conversation. He offers practical shifts like speak with curiosity, not certainty. Pause before responding. Buy yourself a moment to think. Listen not just to words, but to what's behind them. In this chapter, Sesto hands us a flashlight to examine how we engage with the world. Are we creators of clarity or confusion? Do we energize others or exhaust them? The invitation here is powerful. Upgrade your conversations, and you'll upgrade your relationships. Key takeaway: every word you speak is either building bridges or burning them. Chapter 4. Shifting from success to significance. Here's where Sesto shifts the lens from external achievement to internal alignment. He challenges listeners to ask, what if success isn't the ultimate goal? What if significance is? He defines significance not as fame or grand gestures, but as living with purpose, impact, and integrity. Too often, he says, we climb the ladder of success only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. This chapter pushes us to consider what matters most and whether our daily actions are leading us there. He urges readers to shift from accumulating to contributing, competing to collaborating, impressing to impacting. It's a compelling wake-up call. Sesto acknowledges that success feels good, but significance feels right. It satisfies the deeper parts of us that trophies and titles never can. Key takeaway: the most fulfilled people aren't the most successful, they're the most significant. Part 2. Deepening self-awareness and strengthening character. Chapter 5. From autopilot to awareness. Sesto kicks off this section with a bold truth. Most people are living on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, reactions, and routines without examining their origin or impact. He describes autopilot as the enemy of growth, because when we're not awake to the moments of our lives, we can't seize them. This chapter is an invitation to wake up, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. He introduces powerful daily shifts such as start each morning with intention, not distraction. Identify one behavior you repeat that no longer serves you. Practice asking yourself, what's the wise response, before reacting. Sesto makes it clear that awareness isn't a spiritual cliche. It's a daily discipline, a conscious way of being that leads to better choices, fewer regrets, and deeper fulfillment. Key takeaway: you can't change what you're not aware of. Awareness is the ignition switch for personal transformation. Chapter 6. Building a character that commands respect. This chapter is a game changer for anyone concerned with how they are perceived. Not in a superficial, ego-driven way, but in the weight of character they carry into every space. Sesto flips the script. Rather than focusing on reputation, what others think, he challenges us to focus on character, who we really are. He offers shifts like don't aim to be liked, aim to be trusted, choose integrity when no one's watching, do what you say every time. He discusses how respect is earned, not demanded, and how consistency in small decisions creates a character others can rely on. It's a call to examine how we behave in private, under pressure, and when things don't go our way. What's refreshing is that he doesn't position character as some unreachable ideal. Instead, he frames it as a set of small, honorable decisions made repeatedly. Key takeaway: strong character doesn't shout. It simply shows up, stands tall, and keeps its word. Chapter 7. Embracing conflict as a growth opportunity. This chapter reframes one of the most uncomfortable parts of life: conflict. Most people avoid it, fear it, or mishandle it. Sesto proposes a revolutionary shift. Conflict is not a problem. It's an opportunity for depth, clarity, and progress. He walks readers through practical insights, such as don't avoid difficult conversations, prepare for them. Use conflict to deepen connection, not break it. Be curious, not combative. Rather than viewing conflict as something to escape, He shows how it can be used to build trust, express truth, and strengthen boundaries. But it takes humility, patience, and the willingness to listen more than you speak. What makes this chapter shine is its strategic practicality. Del Sesto doesn't just inspire. He gives tools. How to open tough conversations, how to deal with defensiveness, and how to recover when things go sideways. Key takeaway: the quality of your relationships will never rise above your ability to navigate conflict. Chapter 8. Stop managing time. Start managing priorities. In a world obsessed with time management, Del Sesto cuts through the noise with a jarring insight. You don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem. This chapter will hit home for anyone who feels overwhelmed, overcommit, or constantly behind. He challenges us to shift our language from "I don't have time" to "it's not a priority." That simple swap exposes our true values and choices. He asks, are you busy or just distracted? Are you productive or just reactive? Are you managing time or letting it manage you? Del Sesto introduces simple shifts. Block time for your values, not just your tasks. Say no with grace but firmness. Treat your time like a bank account. Spend it wisely. The tone of this chapter is both empowering and sobering. He shows us that we're not victims of time. We are architects of how we use it. Key takeaway: the way you spend your time is the clearest picture of what you truly value. Part 3. Leveling up relationships, leadership, and influence. Chapter 9. Relationships, your greatest investment. Dean Del Sesto flips the script on how we see our relationships. He says plainly, your success will rise and fall on your relationships. Too often, we treat relationships as background noise, only paying attention when there's drama. But in this chapter, Del Sesto argues that intentional relationships are the foundation of a meaningful life. Here are some core shifts he suggests. Stop waiting to be loved. Start giving love, even to the undeserving. Ask more questions, talk less. Don't fix people. Be a safe place where they can grow. He unpacks the idea that most of us bring self-protection and ego into our relationships, rather than vulnerability and service. This chapter challenges us to show up as builders, not takers. He also doesn't shy away from tough love. If your relationships are consistently strained, it might be you who needs to shift. Key takeaway: relationships are not found. They are forged with intention, humility, and grace. Chapter 10. Leadership is not a title, it's a daily posture. Whether you're managing a team or leading your family, this chapter delivers a wake-up call. Leadership is not what you do, it's who you are daily. Del Sesto's leadership philosophy centers on service, character, and clarity. Here are a few key shifts. Lead with questions, not answers. Clarity is kindness. Don't leave people guessing. Create an environment where people are safe to fail and grow. He distinguishes authority from influence, reminding us that the best leaders don't rely on titles or positions. They lead through trust, presence, and consistent integrity. In a standout section, Del Sesto outlines what he calls leadership debt, the cost of neglecting your people. He urges leaders to build emotional equity, knowing that people rarely remember what you said, but always remember how you made them feel. Key takeaway: true leaders don't walk in front, they walk among, drawing the best out of others daily. Chapter 11. From influence to impact. While influence is often talked about in social media terms, Del Sesto takes it deeper. Influence is about being the kind of person people want to follow, even when no one's watching. He urges us to stop asking, how can I get people to listen? And start asking, how can I serve in a way that earns their trust? Some major mindset shifts include: stop trying to impress, start being consistent. Be the same person in every room. Live a life that speaks louder than your words. He introduces the idea that you're always influencing someone, whether you know it or not. And your greatest influence often happens in the smallest, quietest moments. How you react under pressure, how you handle failure, how you treat people who can't benefit you. Key takeaway: impact is what remains when your words and actions align consistently over time. Chapter 12. Navigating pressure with wisdom and grace. Del Sesto acknowledges something most books ignore. Life is hard. Pressure is real, but it doesn't have to crush us. This chapter is a deep dive into resilience. Not the hustle-hard version, but a quiet, powerful endurance rooted in perspective and values. Key shifts include: stress is not the problem. How you interpret it is. Pause under pressure. Don't react, respond. Pressure can shape your purpose, not just your pain. He encourages readers to stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" This mindset shift turns breakdowns into breakthroughs. One of his most potent ideas is this: your worst moment can become someone else's greatest encouragement if you walk through it with wisdom. Del Sesto also introduces emotional self-regulation, not suppressing emotions, but managing them with maturity. Wisdom is revealed not in how we act when things are good, but how we carry ourselves when life gets messy. Key takeaway: grace under pressure is a superpower, and one that can be developed daily. Part 4: Mastery, Mindset, and Making Life Matter. Chapter 13: Owning Your Mind, because it's running the show. Del Sesto zeroes in on the control center of your entire life, your mind. He explains how most people go through life being run by their thoughts, instead of learning to direct and design their thinking. He breaks down powerful shifts like: your thoughts are not facts. Treat them like suggestions. You don't have to believe everything you think. Mental clutter equals life clutter. Clear your head, clear your path. This chapter is filled with prompts that force you to question long-held beliefs. For example, what if the truth you believed about yourself for 10 years is actually just a bad download from your past? He also warns of mental autopilot, where you react out of programming rather than choice. The solution: conscious thought design. Choosing thoughts that serve your future, not your fears. Key takeaway: don't be a prisoner of your own brain. You are not your thoughts. You're the thinker of them. Chapter 14: Personal Mastery. Owning your habits, triggers, and time. Del Sesto delivers a gut punch in this chapter. Your habits are either designing your life or dismantling it. He challenges readers to audit their routines, reactions, and rhythms. His approach is compassionate but firm. He knows change is hard, but avoiding change costs more than making it. Some pivotal shifts include: if it drains you, address it. If it repeats, study it. If it matters, make it visible. He invites us to upgrade how we handle triggers, those moments when we spiral into anger, anxiety, or self-doubt. Instead of being reactive, he calls us to pause and respond like a master, not a slave. Another big theme here is time stewardship. You can't control everything in life, but you can choose where your minutes go. And where your minutes go, your legacy grows. Key takeaway: mastery is not about perfection. It's about making better decisions faster, more often. Chapter 15: Legacy Now, Not Someday. The final chapter lands with urgency. You don't leave a legacy. You live it daily. Del Sesto flips the common idea that legacy is something that happens after you die. He says it's something you build in every interaction, email, conversation, and decision, right now. Key shifts include: live like people are watching, because they are. Every day is a chapter in someone else's story. Live in a way that makes people better for knowing you. This isn't about ego or image. It's about living with intent, love, and boldness. He encourages us to remove the someday mindset and bring our purpose into today's choices. He asks, what if you made decisions like your great-grandchildren were watching? It's a question that sticks. And it summarizes his vision: a life lived not just with success, but significance. Key takeaway: your legacy begins now. Every shift you make today shapes the story you'll leave behind. Closing reflections: the power of small, daily shifts. As the book wraps up, Dean Del Sesto reminds us that transformation doesn't happen in dramatic bursts. It happens in quiet, daily course corrections. The power of one thoughtful shift a day is enough to renew your mindset, heal your relationships, restore your energy, elevate your leadership, and align your life with your values. This book doesn't promise perfection, It promises progress. And by the end, you're left with a clear call. Start today. Shift something small. Watch what grows. Final thought. The best year of your life doesn't arrive by accident. It arrives one small, consistent shift at a time. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.